occasion that we have. We will start in accordance with the program presented by the Chief Executive of the Institute. But beyond that, let me say this, that this date was picked and names were mentioned, invitation cards or invites were given out, and today we are here seeing ourselves in such a very beautiful manner. We all give grace to the Almighty for this opportunity. Having said that, you will permit me to please ask my lords, my professors, and all our distinguished members to please get up for the national anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hang on to our children a banner without stain. Oh God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
Thank you very much. We may all be seated now. We just go straight to the next item on the program. That is welcome. It is my privilege to welcome every one of us to this beautiful occasion. It is beautiful indeed because we are introducing to the entire world a new chapter in ADR institutes in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are giving to the ADR sector of this nation a new baby that is born with a combination of over 50 years experience of the members of the governing council who have traveled for several decades the areas of ADR in the country. They have written books, they have written series of resource papers, they have taught. The chairman of this occasion, the chairman not of the occasion but of the institute, has taught me in administration, in arbitration. And so what we are doing is giving a young baby with a very old experience to the entire world. The invite and giving your presence that I can just make B of B. Thank you very much. Good morning and welcome for coming here. Also, I should just do this straight away by giving us the chairman of the occasion, Mr. Olatunde Busari, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Lionel Silk, thank you very much. And finally, let me also introduce to us the Registrar, Chief Executive of the Institute of Alternative Dispute Resolution Development and Conflict Management, Mrs. Chinyere Onuara. LLM, LGP, and that. Thank you very much. I think that does the introduction. We can quickly move to the next program where we give the floor, the opening remarks by the President and Chairman of the Governing Council. My Prof, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the Master of Ceremonies. I welcome all of us very warmly to the inauguration of our institute. I thank you very much for honoring our invitation. My very warm and respectful gratitude to the chairman of this event, who, at very short notice and despite his crowded schedule, was able to accede to our invitation to chair the event. I also want to thank my dear, very dear colleague, Professor Hakeem Abimbola Olaniyan, who also graciously accepted to be the keynote speaker. Hakeem and myself, Professor Hakeem Olaniyan and myself, were very close in the University of Lagos. In his various stints as head of department of jurisprudence and international law, I remember that I used to walk across to him and tell him exactly what I wanted to do. And he would say, Prof, Ayini, please go ahead. That is, it's you. Please go ahead. He has always treated me with the utmost graciousness, and I thank him for also extending that grace. He didn't say, well, you have left the university, you are history. When I called him, he accepted. So I really want to thank you. Well, the speech that I will read, the evolution and maturation of the practice of alternative dispute resolution, ADR, in Nigeria has a checkered history. The journey began and was forged in the crucible of African traditional practices, whereby disputes and conflicts of whatever coloration were peacefully and amicably resolved through the agency of the different layers of authority within the traditional society, namely the family council consisting of its principal members and presided over by the family head, the quarter or area council consisting of the family heads of the various compounds and presided over by the quarter head, culminating in the jurisdiction of the king in council, whereat the quarter heads and the other major chieftains were represented. Proceedings before the native tribunals were convivial and non-confrontational, and the verdict was carefully calibrated by way of compensation, restitution, restoration, and oftentimes apology, in order to ensure reconciliation between or amongst the disputants. We shall return to the lessons of customary arbitration later in this address. The extant mode of traditional dispute resolution was, however, tragically supplanted upon the introduction of British colonial rule by a court system whereby disputes between individuals and between groups were submitted to the magistrates and judges of the various grades and levels of courts. Like all alien practices forced on a subjugated people, the roughly 7 decades of English court system has manifested its limitations and contradictions in the inordinate delays, heavy costs, unsatisfactory outcomes of permanent schism, and rupture of goodwill and friendships. In recent times, alternative modes of dispute settlement have been introduced in an apparent effort to ameliorate the situation. Alternative dispute resolution refers to the different ways by which people can resolve disputes without trial in a court of law. ADR processes consist mainly of arbitration, mediation, neutral evaluation, and settlement conferences. ADR initiatives in Nigeria have been undertaken variously by government, as with the Lagos Court of Arbitration, LCA. Also jointly by government and private efforts, as with the Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse, LMDC. Also by commercial institutions such as the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, which founded the Lagos Chamber of Commerce Arbitration Center, and by individual organizations such as the International Center for Arbitration and Mediation, ICAMA, the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, UK branch of Nigeria, UK, Nigeria branch, and the new organization being inaugurated today, which is the Institute of Alternative Dispute Resolution Department and Conflict Management of Nigeria, with the acronym i-ADRNigeria. Our institute is established as a platform for the resolution of a broad spectrum of disputes arising from commercial and industrial and by commercial, industrial, and corporate transactions and community interactions. i-ADRNigeria has the unique feature of incorporating the allied field of conflict management into the catalog of services offered to the public by our institute. This is to reflect some endemic conflicts bedeviling our communities, namely tribal, ethnic, religious, workplace, and in our schools and universities. Conflict management is the process of identifying and resolving disagreements in a fast and efficient way using several tools skills and processes to find creative and respectful ways to manage disputes. Fewer than 10% of Nigerian universities and other tertiary institutions teach mandatory courses in alternative dispute resolution and conflict management. Hence, the need for institutions like ours, i-ADRNigeria, to step up and feel the need to mainstream these vital disciplines. Another important and unique feature of our approach at i-ADRNigeria is its deliberate and extensive course of training in customary arbitration. As we noted earlier in this address, African societies invented informal dispute resolution through its inbuilt traditional institutions. These traditional mechanisms used to be need to be revisited and sustained and resuscitated to broaden the scope of ADR and conflict management in the present day. i-ADRNigeria is committed to promoting and achieving the best standards in ADR and conflict management practice so as to ensure seamless commercial, industrial, and corporate landscape and peaceful coexistence amongst the communities in Nigeria. With that very short speech, you will permit me to formally pronounce, as it were, the inauguration of our institute and its presentation to the public as another platform, another institute that has come into the landscape to offer services. So, with your permission, i-ADRNigeria is formally inaugurated. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. It cannot be better than this. But let us just do this quickly. He has introduced i-ADRN to the entire world. Can we please just say welcome? Welcome. Thank you very much. In 2014, I had cause to attend a course on arbitration. And Prof was one of the resource persons that gave lectures at that period. What he has brought into the Institute today is a statement he made while delivering that lectures to us. And this is about going back to the traditional administration, traditional mediation and arbitration process, that there was need to. So when I saw this write-up, I said, Prof has been at the vanguard of this, and he has brought it to bear on this institute. Prof, thank you very much for being who you are. You have not changed. So with this beautiful work that he has done and given to us, we'll move on. But before we do that, you just permit me, because I have the privilege of holding this microphone to do this. I need to just recognize these few people. I may not do this again. While we're here, I have the privilege of having in our midst Justice Wasiu Animaun, a judge of the High Court of Lagos State. My Lord, thank you very much. I also have the privilege, the privilege of having also in our midst my very old friend and brother, Justice Boyega Ogunfora of the High Court of Ogun State. My Lord, thank you very much for coming. Also in our midst is another justice of the High Court a judge of the High Court, that is Justice Tajuddin Okushokon. My Lord, thank you very much for being with us. But very importantly, that I insisted that this gentleman's name should be mentioned in public. Because when he came in, I just looked at his face and I called somebody. I said, this man must be Mrs. Honora's father. Nobody told me. I just saw the face. He said, Deomi, you are always like this. So I am proud this morning to let us know that in our midst is the father of the Chief Administrative Officer of this institute. I'll get his name now. He's even an Inze and also a professor, Sam Usoshuku. Daddy, you are very welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. So with this done, we can go back to our program. The next item on the program is the opening remarks by the chairman of the occasion, Mr. Olatunde Busari, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. By no sake. Yeah.
The President and Chairman of Council of i-ADRNigeria, Professor Akin Bidakpo-Obe. The keynote speaker, Professor Akim Olaniyan. And I must specially identify my bosses from my primary jurisdiction, Justice Boyega Ogunfora, ably representing, I'm told, the CJ of Ogun State, Justice Tajuddin Okushokan, and coming home, Justice Wasiu Animaho, my brothers and my bosses, council members of the Institute, distinguished registrar of the Institute, Mrs. Chinyere Onora, distinguished i-ADRN members and ADR practitioners, fellow professionals in our gathering, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, really delighted to have been invited to chair this very important event of the inauguration of the Institute of ADR Development and Conflict Management of Nigeria, and also the occasion of the accreditation of the council members of the Institute. As I've been said, my name is Olatunde Busari. I'm a senior advocate of Nigeria and an ADR practitioner. So I feel at home very much when I'm asked to come and play an important role such as this for the inauguration and birth of a new ADR. So I congratulate all the members, the president, the leadership, and all the council members of the Institute for this very, very noble conception of the new ADR body. When I was invited by Professor Akin Bidakpo-Obe, I had 1,001 domestic and official reasons as excuse for not being able to come here. But because of the admiration and respect that I have for the president, Professor Bidakpo-Obe, it will be a sin for me to say, no, I cannot come. We have shared many professional platforms together. We have worked together on ADR, and we have been on tribunals. And I know how very, very passionate Prof is with the development of ADR law, practice, and process in Nigeria. So I immediately said, yes, I will come, even if I'll spend 2 hours. At that time, there was a major reason for me to say I will limit my presence here. But Prof, I'm happy to say that I'll be here for as long as you want me to be. And again, I'm quick to say that I'm here under very special dispensation and leave granted to me by somebody special to me. And before I close the chairman's remarks, I will let you know how I got that leave and dispensation to be here. It's commendable that the i-ADR is joining the league of quite a number of existing ADR bodies and organizations established to promote effective and efficient conflict resolution methods and to complement the court systems. I'm happy the Milords are here and they appreciate the role that ADR bodies are playing in complementing the administration of justice. It's been very active, particularly in Nigeria, because over the period we've had, in this decade, we've had the evolution and birth of quite a number of ADR initiatives. And I mentioned particularly the effort of the Negotiation and Conflict Management Group in establishing what today is known as the multi-door courthouses, which is a court-annexed ADR with a number of ADR doors that judges refer cases that believe can be resolved either by negotiation or mediation or arbitration to. I always acknowledge that because it was a very, very noble idea at the time. And I remember when, in the time of Justice Shotsuminu, she signed a practice direction establishing the Lagos multi-door courthouse. It sounded like something that may not succeed. But today we have thousands and thousands of cases being resolved by ADR just by initiative of one man. So my prayer today is that with this initiative of the establishment of the i-ADR, the relevance of i-ADR will not be lost also in the dispensation of justice, and I'm sure it will be a true addition and a true complement to the administration of justice in Nigeria. The size of this gathering is an acknowledgement of the significance of ADR in the effective and efficient conflict resolution. It also shows that quite a number of people have now joined the crusade of ADR. With the birth of i-ADR, the council members must be dedicated to the ideals that we meet best practices, global best practices. As professionals in the field of ADR, we must continue to innovate, we must continue to collaborate and promote the benefits of ADR to the local and international communities. As dispute resolvers, we discharge quasi-judicial duties. We are private judges appointed by the parties. We must be neutral, we must be independent and transparent without any bias at all time to win the trust and respect of various users and stakeholders in the ADR spheres. By the operation of ADR Institute, you'll find that you have established a platform for dispute resolution. You want people to refer their disputes to you, but you must maintain the trust. You must earn the trust. It's easy for cases to come, but then you must create a panel of neutrals that consist of people with untainted characters, people with undoubted judicial minds, people that will not shy away from calling black, black and white, white. From my modest experience as an arbitrator, my experience has been that people will appoint you because they trust that you can say the truth. But indeed, the society we live in everything is being tainted and bastardized gradually. Some people will appoint you because they believe, don't worry, I can talk to Tunde, appoint him. And by the time you get midstream and they find out that, yes, they can talk to you, but they can't get the kind of result they want from you, they become your enemies. I was asking a friend of mine when they were saying, you guys, there's a lot of money in arbitration you are making. I said, and there are a lot of enemies we make. Because at the end of the day, by the time you call a spade to your friend who feels because of you he has lost thousands and thousands and millions of dollars, he will stop talking to you. But again, I will tell you another experience. I was an arbitrator appointed in a dispute involving cross-border corporations. What do they call them? Multinational companies. I ruled against them. A few months down the line, I received another appointment from this same multi. So I said I wasn't going to take it. Then I asked the counsel that why are they appointing me? He said because they felt you spoke the truth even though it was bitter to them. So at least 1 out of 4 people will appreciate it when you speak the truth. There is another national corporation that appointed me to act as arbitrator. I did not particularly rule against them, but because they were not happy with the ruling, another law firm was going to appoint me as an arbitrator, and that corporation said no. So I said, ask them why. They said because he's always ruling against us. I said, ask them in which arbitration. When they mentioned the arbitration, is an arbitration that most of us know that has gone to the UK, and if I describe it a bit, I will mention, and they have partially recognized it. It's gone to the House of Lords, it's still there now. So I said, in that arbitration, I was a pupil, not even an arbitrator. So the guy went back. So when he came back, he mentioned another one. I said, in that arbitration, the arbitration is still ongoing. We haven't given a ruling. So he went back and he now mentioned the arbitration. So I said, ask them. 3 of us were appointed. I ruled against them together with another arbitrator. That other arbitrator was the arbitrator appointed by them. The third arbitrator that gave a dissenting opinion was not appointed by them. So if I, together with the person that they appointed, could tell them this is white or this is black, what again do they want? But till tomorrow, that corporation, perhaps the largest corporation in Nigeria, each time they mention my name, they will say, no, he's always ruling against us. But a day is coming when there will be another MD in that corporation that will ask them, when he ruled against you, was it on truth or on falsehood? Okay, call him back because we want somebody that can speak the truth. So my admonition to all the members here is that at any cost, if you find yourself appointed as an arbitrator, make sure you still speak the truth. It is only by speaking the truth that the users of arbitration will continue to refer their dispute to i-ADR, and that is the way i-ADR can truly, really grow. Now, I will also mention the issue of conflict of interests. I made allusion to the fact that only your friends or people close to you will appoint you as an arbitrator. But if that relationship is close enough, you have to disclose. I cannot be appointed to act as arbitrator in a company in which my wife is the legal advisor. I will have to disclose. No matter how attractive it sounds, one of the big arbitrations in our jurisdiction, in respect of one of the federal government's properties, to give a hint, perhaps the largest federal government property in Lagos State. When I was appointed, they raised an objection. They said at the time when the president signed that contract, I was a special advisor to the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Yes, indeed, it was true. But then the presiding arbitrator in that panel was a past Minister of Justice in Nigeria. If he is not conflicted, and there is fear that he may rule for Nigeria, why do you think I, an ordinary SA, who does not attend FEC, will be conflicted? So I did not recuse myself. They brought that, they changed their counsel, and they brought that application again. So I said, integrity is paramount. By the time I lose the confidence of one of the parties, there is nothing I can rule that will be acceptable. Let it be on record that when they challenge me, that they doubt my integrity and transparency, I did the honorable thing. I retired, I left that tribunal, and together with, I leave the size of the amount that I left behind to you to judge. But you have to be able to do that. You should be able to walk away in the interest of justice and to uphold your integrity. But the cure to conflict of interest is disclosure. Once you have disclosed, if the parties are happy, indeed they will tell you, go on and continue as the arbitrator. I will also urge the council members of the i-ADR to encourage and imbibe the culture of collaboration. Like I mentioned, there are so many good examples of ADR bodies in Nigeria that you can collaborate with. The mere mention of membership of ICC confers, or mere mention of membership of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators gives an impression of you, this is an arbitrator to reckon with. I will urge the Council of i-ADR to collaborate with bodies that have sterling records, and then you can rub off on them. And with time, the mere mention of the certification of i-ADR will depict sterling quality, global standard, transparency, such that people will not even ask you how much knowledge do you have, just by saying I'm a member of the i-ADR. You know what comes to our mind when somebody says he's a graduate of Cambridge. You believe yes, or I did my master's in MIT. People already assume that he's hot, he's intelligent. So I will urge the leadership of i-ADR that the sterling standard and quality by which all institutions are measured should be what i-ADR should embrace. I will urge, I'm sorry if I'm taking too much time. It's looking like a lecture, but I'm sure Prof knew there was a risk in asking somebody who has been in practice for many decades to come and give a remark. I'm sorry I'm giving a chairman's lecture, not a chairman's remarks. I will urge i-ADR to establish i-ADR arbitration rules for use in both domestic and international and ad hoc arbitration. It governs how the arbitration process is administered. There is no need to reinvent the wheel. If you look at, for instance, the International Chamber of Commerce rules, if you look at the Kigali International, for instance, if you look at the Kigali International Arbitration Center rules, is verbatim a reproduction of the ICC rules. Nobody will arrest them because they collaborate. If you take the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators rules, if you take there are so many rules that can inform. In fact, there is the UNCITRAL Arbitration Rules 1985. It's a model rule established by the United Nations. And if you see the kind of work that goes into formulation of the UNCITRAL rules, I was privileged to have led a Nigerian delegation to the formulation of the online dispute resolution model rules in Geneva. And you could see representing Japan was a professor. Representing Mexico was a professor. Representing America was an ADR that had been doing ADR before I was born. So all these people put together, I happen to be the lowest and the least qualified person amongst them, but I learned and we contributed, and today we have the online dispute resolution model rules. So there's the UNCTAD model arbitration rules that we can use to reflect on how the rules of the i-ADR will be. i-ADR should strive to have the mediation rules as well. You should have model contract clauses that can be used as to specify the chosen dispute resolution process in commercial contracts. There can be no dispute resolution method without the clause. So how do you formulate your, for instance, arbitration clause or your mediation clause or the multi-tier dispute resolution method clause? You should give your members templates, either in your rules or in the pamphlets that has been given out to us at the back. You should have models of your arbitration, mediation, and all of the clauses, so that people, users, can just take it, adapt it. Dispute will not arise today. After all, dispute resolution method are only there for future disputes, not disputes today. When we are shaking hands, we do not anticipate we will fight. So it is for future disputes. So dispute may not arise until a year or two. But when disputes arise, then the clause would have taken care of it, and that is when i-ADR. So I will ask the council members not to be daunted that things are slow. It will take time. It could take another 5 years before you start seeing loads of disputes coming, but you will sow the seed today. I will also urge i-ADRN to establish a code of professional and ethical conduct. This regulates your members. Erring members can be reported to you for disciplinary measures, and particularly training and certification. There is no law in the world that says you must be trained before you can be an arbitrator or before you can be a mediator. No law at all. In fact, there are provisions by statute that if the parties says the dispute resolver they want appointed should be an engineer or an architect or an artist, so be it. So if you now appoint a doctor, when parties say we want an architect to be an arbitrator, you are in trouble. That means whatever the doctor says is a nullity from the beginning. So I said no law says you must be trained. But again, it helps if you train your members. If you train your members before they are appointed, they know the next step to take. And I remember that with the initiative of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, most jurisdictions in Nigeria have been trained as arbitrators. Most judicial jurisdictions, Lagos High Court judges, they are all trained as arbitrators. The Federal High Court, Kano High Court, Abuja, so many jurisdictions, and I will say with confidence that what we witness today in our high courts, both in Ogun State, both in Lagos State, FCT, they are a reflection of training which had been undermined in the past. But by virtue of the training now, you find that a lot of judges are at home when arbitration matters are referred to them. I will urge i-ADR to also join in this crusade. Whilst we welcome the Kabiyesi, Ekabo, and I remember I had in mind when the president was talking about traditional dispute resolution method. Those methods are still acknowledged till today, Kabiyesi. Even though we may have moved on to large-scale commercial dispute resolution, but then we cannot close our eyes to the fact that the root of dispute resolution in our jurisdiction is the roles placed by the traditional leaders. So on this note, having stressed the importance of training and accreditation and certification, I congratulate the President and Council of i-ADR And my prayer is that the Institute will attain greater heights under the watch of our able president and council members. And lastly, I said you should remind me of a disclosure that I needed to make. As a young boy, as a student, I was told that if you want to know whether your friend, I won't say girlfriend, takes you seriously or you are the only one, make sure she's with you on her birthday. If she's not with you on her birthday, find out who was she with. That is the person important to her. And vice versa. If a man takes a lady seriously, let the lady make sure she's with him on his birthday. And when Prof invited me to this occasion, the main reason why I wanted to decline was because today is my birthday. I turned 26 today. If you invite it, you will know my age. And I agreed to spend some of my time with you today because of the importance I attach to this gathering. And I also say I will retain the remaining part of today with families, with friends and family. And when I said I got here by special dispensation and leave, the leave was granted by my wife that I should come here and spend some time with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can we please give him a rounding applause? Please let us sing happy birthday for you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to birthday. Happy birthday to you. Bless you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. Good Lord bless you. Good fellow, for he is a jolly good fellow. For he is a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. For he is a jolly good fellow. For he is a jolly good fellow. For he is a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the keynote address given by the chairman of today. On my part, I think that was much more than a keynote address. It is actually a classroom environment that you took us to, Mr. Chairman. We are very grateful. What I would suggest to you is that what the note you scribbled or something that you were taking it out of from, you should please make it available to the Institute so that it will become part of the resource documents that we can use in future. Thank you very much. I take away from this one key issue in arbitration, because it has happened to me, conflict of interest, and how do you resolve it? Disclosure. I was called to come and mediate at the LMDC. I didn't look at the names very well of the parties. But when I got there, I saw Kola James. Kola James is a member of Lagos Lawn Tennis Club. We play tennis together, we sit down together, we drink, we chat. And the sisters and brothers were there. And you can see from their faces that they were very angry with themselves. Indeed, the first mediator appointed had to leave because they make the environment very uncomfortable for him. When I saw Kola James, I said, what am I going to do? What I did is to tell them, please, this is my name. I am Adewumi Adisa. I am a member of Lagos Lawn Tennis Club. Your brother is a member of Lagos Lawn Tennis Club. I would like to recuse myself at this moment. Let me return the file. Oh, they said, no, that the mere fact you have disclosed it is enough for us. That matter was in court for about 15 years, referred by a judge to the LMDC, and at 4 sittings, we resolved this matter and they all signed terms of settlement. So I take away from you that, and I also recommend it to every one of us that is an active participant in the ADR process. When there is conflict of interest, simply do what? Disclose. So thank you very much on that. Now, I'll just quickly go back to the recognitions that we made. And I promise you this is the last time I'm going to do that. Let me correct myself. I'm told that Honorable Justice Tajuddin Okushokon is a High Court judge of Ogun State. So I'm sorry for missing that out. I'm also informed that Honorable Justice Boyega Ogunfowora is also representing the Chief Judge of Ogun State, Honorable Justice Dipeolu, and is likely to give the, he has a role to play, a goodwill message from the CJ. While we're sitting, we also observed that our traditional ruler, who I'm told is very much conversant in the traditional setting of arbitration and mediation, walked in. We cannot but recognize the presence, just hold on, I would like to call the name in full. Sorry. His Royal Majesty, King Dr. Michael Odunayo Ajayi, the Arowo Tawaya II, King of Irimo Kingdom. Kabiyesi, you are very much welcome to this occasion, and we thank you very much for what you have done in the ADR sector in the traditional setting. Also, while we're sitting down, my sister from Ekpetedo, Justice Sherry Sholebo, also walked in. Welcome. And just before I anchored that, I saw Prof. from Unilag, my teacher also, Professor Momodu Kasim Momodu. Prof, thank you very much, and I'm grateful to see you once again. Before we move on, let me just say this on a personal note. She has given me, she has sent me back 20, 30 years of my life. To see Professor Akeem Olaniyan here, to see Justice Ogunfowora here after several years, and to see Prof. Momodu here after several years, it's a personal privilege to me, and I'm grateful to God that I have the opportunity to see these people once again. There's also a Mr. Aware, I'm sorry, of NGX that also worked in. You are also recognized, and God will recognize every one of us. So on that note, we can move to the next item on the agenda, which is a keynote address by Professor Akeem Olaniyan. You are looking so rotund. You have to tell me how you guys are doing it.
No, it's not always look like
Good afternoon, everyone. I plead to stand on existing protocol. The President, my lords, I should start with the chairman, but I have decided to stand on existing protocol. But permit me to welcome Kabiyesi. Kabiyesi, we met for the first time at Victoria Falls. I was in that place, courtesy of Professor Ibidapobi. I think he personally told the dean to give me the opportunity. That was my first time of attending the Law and Religion Conference, and I was extremely grateful to him. Having said that, I feel greatly honored for the invitation extended to me to speak to this gathering of highly respected and distinguished jurists and personalities. This is an occasion for the inauguration of the Institute of Alternative Dispute Resolution, Development and Conflict Management of Nigeria, i-ADRNigeria. Please help me add Nigeria there. As well as accreditation of its Foundation Council. The Institute has of course been duly registered as a company limited by guarantee under Nigerian law. I am particularly grateful to my former dean and highly respected, retired but not tired professor, Akin Ibidapobi, the foundation president of the Institute, for assigning me this humbling task. Now, I don't know whether to call this a keynote address. The real keynote address seems to have been delivered by somebody who is the guru in the field. Okay? So, but me, I just want to talk from, I am also into arbitration, but I'm more into teaching. And I'm in the field of jurisprudence, where we open our mind to virtually everything and decide to make heavy weight of small things. Now, the registrar introduced the mission of this institute in the speech that I read. According to her, she said the institute will teach the procedure and skills of resolving all forms of conflicts and disputes with the alternative dispute resolution mechanism, negotiation, mediation, arbitration, and other hybrid methods. Develop ADR processes which will suit Nigerian social circumstances, and call up our traditional and communal dispute resolution and conflict management skills, which had ensured our peaceful and progressive coexistence in time past. Now I say, alternative resolution We have been given the definition, the president gave it, the chairman gave it again. Simply means any method used to resolve a dispute between parties without resorting to litigation. Now, extant and conventional practice limits the dispute that may be resolved through ADR. But what did the registrar say? She said, it is all forms of conflict and disputes that will be the focus of this institute. This has the potential to make the institute unique. Existing institutes or bodies concentrate on commercial and investment disputes, for which conventional ADR methods have been established. It is also gratifying that the institute will teach other hybrid methods. For example, as at the time I was writing this, I didn't read the president's write-up, where he also hammered on customary arbitration. But I know very well that if Professor Ibidakobe is in charge, then customary law must be given a pride of place. This is a professor who, if you don't know him very well, you look at him as a professor of public law. He taught constitutional law, taught criminology, taught all of that. But ask me what he did his inaugural on. Professor Ibidakobe did his inaugural on something that is jurisprudential, highlighting the important role of Africa in world civilization. Okay? So I know that if Professor Ibidakobe is in charge, then you will not negate customary law and customary method. So that's why I said other hybrid methods, for example, customary law arbitration. Now, legal historians and jurisprudence teach that what we call ADR today is the oldest way of resolving disputes predating Greco-Roman civilization. Africa in particular is reputed to be one of the places where the practice of conciliating as opposed to litigating originated from, even though some of the original African methods have not been considered in the modern resurgence of ADR. It is therefore a delight that some intellectuals are now attempting to revisit and utilize our history of devising non-combative approach to dispute resolution to ensure for us a regime of non-rancorous and peaceful conciliation of all manners of dispute. Now, we are told, maybe those who are saying it were limiting their knowledge to the existing established mode, established ADR mode. So they tell us, and this is from a World Bank report, that ADR may not be suitable for resolving certain types of disputes. They list 5 of them. They said 1, where there is a need to establish a clear precedent or public ruling. 2, where there is an excessive power imbalance. 3, they say where the parties are not committed to negotiating and resolving the dispute. 4, where negotiation may be perceived as a sign of weakness. And 5, where the parties cannot trust each other to abide by the terms of a settlement. This is from a World Bank report in 2011. I say that these exceptions to the use of ADR fly in the face of the reality in modern time of the following facts. 1, they said that if you want to, that ADR will not be suitable because we want to establish precedent and all of that. We have witnessed that in Nigeria. There are times when we will say, no, somebody has been charged for corruption. It's not enough to collect money from him. He should go through trial. And we have public institutions, public agencies like EFCC and all of them pursuing that. And in 1 decade, we can count the number of prosecution completely successfully done. So if really we don't consider getting them to pay back as an achievement, how much have we achieved beyond that? Okay, so I say that, well, we may have to choose between overburdening the public institutions, that is the agencies that will do that will help us prove our point, and lessening their burden by getting speedy results, such as they could achieve through plea bargain, through asset recoveries, and all of that. We have seen now that the method is changing. The first thing they do is they get assets seized and put you in a position where if you seriously want to recover your asset, you have to think about going through trial and all of that. The fact of corruption is well known, so there is no need for anybody to prove any point again. And society may do better to see how much of it can we get, and ADR will then be relevant. They talk about power imbalance. They say power imbalance may be the reason why you will resort to litigation instead of ADR. I say that my feeling is the opposite, because we have some types of dispute that are not appropriate to be litigated. I give an example: international investment disputes. Because private international law says is a private matter. It's a relationship between a state and national of another state. So you won't go to international courts. You must go to tribunals or courts in a particular state. And so right from the onset, power is not balanced, because you are talking of citizens of one country having to appear in the court of another. You are talking about the legislature of one country having power to change the law mid-course and all of that. And so everybody now agrees that because of that imbalance, international investment disputes can only rightly be arbitrated, not litigated. So that point is not really correct, that power imbalance is a good reason for not going through ADR. Thirdly, they talk about number 3, they said parties are not committed to negotiating or resolving the dispute. If parties are not committed to negotiating or resolving the dispute, even litigation is not suitable. Why do I say so? You will find that people who are committed to moving ahead, they will tell you, don't practice Ganifa with me with my brief. That is what my client told me on one occasion when I was trying to procure consent for him for a transaction. And Lagos State had this rule that if it was originally state land, you must go to new town development to clear. So, but this is not a first registration. somebody had registered title before and is transferring to my client. So we went to Newtown Development Authority. At that time, it was in Muri Okola. I don't know whether it's still there. And lo and behold, by the time the chairman or whatever they called her at that time will come out, she said, no, the land they gave your client was a corner piece. And the original owner paid a certain amount. There is something more to be paid in order for the state not to be cheated. And I laughed and I told her that, madam, I hope you understand what is before you. I am trying to register for a second person. Somebody, the person who bought from you, you had already given him a CFO. Okay? You had already given him a CFO. So I said, this one is a bona fide purchaser for value without notice, madam. He cannot pay. And I didn't get to the client. I thought I was doing something good. So I wrote the Attorney General. At that time, Professor Oshimbajo, who was also our guy in the university before he became Attorney General, was there. So I walked on to him, and he was nodding. He agreed with everything I said. He said, yes, yes, Olania, you are correct. Go and write. I wrote. He minuted to her, and she went there with everything. Say, well, the governor told us that anybody who will buy land in Lekki is already rich. All those arguments, you don't use it for the rich, you use it to help the poor. So when Prof told me what he said, it then became necessary for me to inform my client what happened. When I told him, the man was very angry with me. He said, why are you practicing Ganify me with my brief? Why are you practicing Ganify me with my brief? Then he sat me down. He told me that, look, what you lawyers don't understand is that the things that bother us businessmen is all this issue. They told you to come and pay, maybe at that time, maybe some 30 or 40,000 naira more. Do you know that the 6 months you have wasted, do you know what it means to me? If I had gotten that consent some 6 months ago, this is the amount I would have spent in getting approval and building. Go and find out what I'm going to pay now. So, at the end of the day, when I finally got the consent for him, he said, well, Mr. Olania, you have tried, but we have to review balance because you cost me some medic and all of that. And we were on that for a long time. I wanted to threaten him that I would go to court again. But I learned my lesson that this man said I should not practice Ganify me with his brief. Let me not practice Ganify me with my balance. So we quickly settled and all of that. So you find that in most commercial and civil disputes, parties are usually more interested in moving forward instead of proving a point. There is something we normally say about jurisprudence of interest and jurisprudence of concept. Businessmen and practically all people are more interested in jurisprudence of interest, not that of concept. They want to move forward. They don't have any point to prove. Okay, the next one, he said that if parties are not willing, negotiation may be perceived as a sign of weakness. Even litigation too is perceived as a sign of weakness. Today, who are the people who rush to court? The people who rush to court, as I've said in number 4 there, are people who cannot help themselves. Litigants will, if they can, for example, prefer to be a defendant in possession of a landed property plaintiffs will usually approach courts to preserve or secure an immediate advantage through, say, ex parte injunctive reliefs, discovery orders, etc. So invariably, even litigating is a sign of weakness. We hear the powerful go to court if you are not. Litigation or ADR. On the other hand, instead of a different mindset, being contributors to peaceful coexistence, instead of being egoists, pursuing self-interest at the detriment of peace, justice, and tranquility of the society, would have been acquired as a habit, and that will benefit the weak while earning the strong respect and honor. Then the fifth one, they said ADR is not proper if the parties cannot trust each other to abide by the terms of a settlement. I say, even after judgment too, you need to execute. And the cost of executing a court judgment is the judgment. So if he's not likely to be willing to settle, he's not likely also to make it easy for you to execute judgment. And I give an example. I said, a party who will not fulfill his obligation under a negotiated settlement is not likely to make it easy for a judgment against him. Important cases being finally settled by political or other solutions after the highest court of the land has delivered a judgment. What is the benefit of first traveling the route of litigation only to embrace the opportunity to reconcile that was available at the time of commencing litigation? So I conclude that it is indeed my own thesis that there is no dispute unless rancorously settled through ADR than through the courts. ADR method identified. In recent times, legal systems, Nigeria inclusive, have come to the realization that ADR is of critical importance. Mandatory and discretionary recourse to ADR as part of procedure or process. For example, as filed in court have to go through 4 litigants before being assigned to a judge. Action protocol bundle is now a conditionality for acceptance originating processes in Lagos State. The registrar must be satisfied that these efforts have been made to reconcile before recourse is made to litigation. Even after originating processes have been filed and during pre-trial, courts may decide to refer civil disputes to arbitration through the multi-door courthouse, a practice replicated by the judiciaries in FCT, Abuja, Edo, and some other states. The Administration of Criminal Justice Act contains a legal framework for the adoption of plea bargaining in Nigeria, to blanket exclusion of criminal law or prosecution from ADR, a new realization beyond conceptual distinction that even though the state it is that prosecutes criminal offenders, they are individual victims of crimes whose interests can be better pursued through ADR. Also, there are human prosecutors with prosecutorial discretion, the exercise of which can be better done through ADR for the benefit of the state. Plea bargain, also known as plea agreement, though not expressly stated to be an ADR mechanism, is regarded as such because its form and effect conform to the principles and aims of ADR. In conclusion, I say the establishment of this the business community, reality of the Nigerian populace stand to benefit from this attempt to harness our past and history to direct our future in the area of this. Its foundation council and prospective members' success in pursuing the
Yeah, that's another piece of effort. Please, can we kindly give him a rousing address? Thank you very much. We've heard from the Prof. And it cannot be better than that. Message from the Honorable Chief Judge, here represented by Honorable Justice Ogunfowora.
Thank you very much. May I also stand on the existing protocols as I however recognize formally the chairman of this occasion, Learned Silk and Professor Akin Ibidapobe, Professor, the president and chairman of the governing council. Firstly, let me apologize on behalf of the Honorable the Chief Judge of Ogun State for not being present here. She is a member of the National Judicial Council, and I think they still met up till Friday. She is in Abuja, so that's why she is unable to be here. She has put some words together, so I would be saying what she has asked me to say, and I would also, it will be a mishmash of what I've also put together. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, honored to stand here today on the inauguration of this council. This momentous occasion marks a significant milestone in our collective pursuit of promoting peaceful conflict resolution and effective dispute management. As we gather to witness the accreditation of the Institute Council members, I'm reminded of the critical role that alternative dispute resolution plays in fostering harmony and understanding in our society. Research and statistics have shown that the formal court system cannot cope with the number of disputes that need resolution. Every day we would hear the Supreme Court, they are fixing cases to hear. Those who practice know. If you miss the opportunity this year, maybe your next opportunity will come in 5 years. They are listing, Court of Appeal, they are listing. Even if you ask my lords here, the high courts are actually faster now than the appellate courts. Your matters can be dealt with within 2 years or 3 years. Court of Appeal, if you miss it now, maybe in another 5 years. Supreme Court, maybe another 8 years. So it's not that we need, there is an imperative need for alternate dispute resolution. Simply, our courthouses. And we've also had to do, our state is one of the states that ADR is really prominent in. What the Chief Judge has done, even sometimes early this year, the Olowu of Owo, the newly chiefs, the old setting that they would also become. So what they did, they trained them, and then they would link whatever their judgments, they come to the OMDC, have it stamped, and then send to the ADR judge so that it would get the stamp of the court system too, so that they become judgments that can be enforced. So all of these initiatives, the Ogun State judiciary, we are embracing and we are going forward. And I dare say that our chief judge is one of the chief judges that plays a key role and understands why ADR is important, which is why also we are proud to say that last year, 2023, sometimes in October, we had the first judges conference on alternate dispute resolution. All judges came from far and near, Lagos, Bayelsa. A lot of judges came. It was specifically targeted on ADR in last year, and Lagos promised to host the next edition. We don't know whether it is this year or next year. So these are not enough. Like we know, the sheer number of disputes that need resolutions, particularly in these trying economic times, that Institute's commitment to providing a platform for conflict resolution, mediation, and arbitration is truly commendable. Let me also share, this year I had a case. Two neighbors, landlords, they came to court, litigation. You know all these, his children will throw stones, they've broken my windshield, they drape their wet clothes over the fence, they disturb me and all of that. I had started. I looked at this case, if I finish, like this, not be friends. And then these people, they are not one is a tenant, both of them are landlords. They will be enemies. So what I just did, I sent it to multi-door courthouse. A few weeks ago, they come back, they agreed among themselves. I just signed their agreement as that would be the judgment. But what I'm sure of and what I'm confident is that since we all know that basically it's driven, so they would, like the keynote speaker said, once it is them that has agreed, they are more likely to follow through on keeping the agreement other than if the judge had given judgment on it. So the importance of effective conflict management cannot be overstated. In today's world, disputes can arise from even the most seemingly trivial issues. What we are also trying to do in Ogun, what we found out is that this is also another initiative that we have with an NGO now, that we've looked at Ogun State, some of the these traditional disputes, we are trying to see go down. I don't know of Lagos, but I think practically there are CDAs, Community Development Associations, So try and train one person in a CDA, let it be that arbitration. It will determine, can this be, can ADR work? So instead of, and then if you're able to do it, also send it to the OMDC, have it signed, and then it would also become a judgment. Make sure that the informal justice system also, that everybody has access to justice. So the Institute's focus on equipping individuals with the necessary skills to manage conflicts in a constructive and strong should be to imbibe effective communication skills for resolving contemporary conflicts and disputes, and then developing the mediation capacity for effective conflict management, equipping participants with creative abilities to manage information and conflict situations, and that moving forward, she urges the accredited council members to remain committed to the Institute's mission, as their dedication to promoting alternative dispute resolution will have a profound impact on our society. In closing, she expresses her gratitude to the Institute's founders, staff, and stakeholders for their tireless efforts in ensuring that this vision also becomes reality, and that she wishes She prays that all of us should strive together to create a more harmonious and peaceful society. I thank you for listening.
Thank you, my Lord, for delivering the message from the Chief Judge of Ogun State. The next stage now is to give the podium to the Registrar, Chief Executive of the Institute, to come and speak to our paper, which possibly elaborate on it. At the end of that, we are going to then have the induction of the members that are here present. I'll be needing the attention of the Honorable, the Learned Silk, the chairman of this occasion. I'll also be needing the attention of the chairman governing council and also the legal advisor of the institute, Mr. Uluide. We'll take that immediately after we listen to Mrs. Honora.
Judge and other judges here present. To stand on existing protocols. Dispute resolution development and conflict management of Nigeria, i-ADRNigeria. We are truly humbled that you all took time out of your incredibly busy schedules to honor us with your presence at today's event. Conflicts are an inherent part of human interaction. Indeed, we live in a world where conflicts are increasingly common. In Nigeria, as in other parts of Africa and the world, social inequality, ethnic and religious differences, and the effects of climate change, among others, have seen an increase in individual and communal differences. Traditional litigation centered on our court is often costly, time-consuming, and damaging in relationships. The concept of ADR is not new in Nigeria. Indeed, a lot of emphasis has been placed on the more established mechanisms, such as arbitration and mediation, to resolve disputes outside the traditional litigation process. A lot of financial resources and research have been concentrated on these mechanisms lately, resulting in the Arbitration and the Mediation Act of 2023. An important machinery of ADR has, however, been left behind, which has potential of being a game changer in the way ADR is approached in Nigeria at the grassroots level and also in commercial transactions. At i-ADRNigeria, we envision Nigeria where alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, both conventional and that rooted in customary ADRs, are accessible, effective, and fostering the following: improved business relationships and optimal corporate growth and output. Community-led justice, equipping local leaders and stakeholders with skills to resolve disputes amicably. Cultural relevance, integrating traditional dispute resolution methods with modern ADR practices. Inclusive access, reaching marginalized communities and promoting social cohesion. Capacity building, developing expertise in conventional and customary ADRs for sustainable conflict resolution. And then national harmony, contributing to a culture of peace, tolerance, and understanding across Nigeria, as we have always known it. What is our vision? Our vision in i-ADRNigeria is to become the premier platform for ADR training, research, and practice in Nigeria. So we'll be recognized for human capacity building, channeled to promoting strategic partnerships with stakeholders in order to foster business expansion, ensuring better financial and economic transformation. Excellence in convention and customary arbitration, mediation, and ADR education. Innovative community and corporate-based dispute resolution initiatives. Measurable impact on grassroots conflict resolution. Our vision statement aligns with i-ADRNigeria's mission and objectives, which emphasizes corporate and community empowerment and grassroots focus, highlighting the importance and relevance of conventional and customary ADR mechanisms. We strongly believe that this will facilitate a broader impact of ADR on national harmony and social cohesion. Now, the guiding principles to achieve this, our approach encompasses the following: collaborations and partnerships. We will collaborate with stakeholders and build partnerships across other institutions, corporate bodies, state and international, and professional networks that support our vision. Inclusivity and diversity. No one will be left behind. Differences will be valued and respected. We will encourage open and respectful dialogue and provide practical training and strategies to empower ADR practitioners for effective engagement. Community-centric approach. We will collaborate with local stakeholders at the grassroots levels to develop mechanisms and processes for dispute resolution using existing traditional systems. Cultural sensitivity. These mechanisms and processes will take into consideration cultural nuances and sensitivities, encouraging the buy-in and support of communities and thereby facilitating a more effective resolution of disputes. Continuous learning and improvement. We believe in continuous learning and improvement, and we will build professionalism and aspire for excellence in all we do. i-ADRNigeria aspires to create an enduring legacy as a think tank for innovation and dynamic policy initiatives, creating an impact for future generations. This is a massive task that requires best hands. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, your collective wealth of experience, expertise, and visionary efforts in your respective fields, garnered over several years, helped in shaping the ADR landscape in Nigeria. That is why we have extended our invitation to you to join hands with us as inaugural members of the Council of i-ADRNigeria in the important work ahead. Your acceptance of our invitation and presence here today lends weight to and reinforces the importance of the collective work that needs to be done in the pursuit of justice, fairness, and peaceful solutions to conflicts in Nigeria. I welcome you all as you join us in this exciting journey.
Please let that round of applause be louder than that. This is the new baby that we are giving to the world. Thank you very much. Now we can take the induction, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Where is Mr. Chairman, sir? Where is Oloyede? Can somebody call him? Call Mr. Oloyede. Get one of the. Bola, call any of the young girls there. Sir. That's him now. Give him the. Mr. Olede, you know them. So you go there and take this thing.
I'll call the name, sir. Okay, so you go. Carry that, carry that, carry that. Yes, the people present. Okay. So, I have to, because I don't call it. Yes, I have to call it. No,
When you call it, present it to the chairman
for him, then you. Okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go to the accreditation of council members. And please, it's called in no particular order. It's called in no particular order. And please, can we have Temidayo or Jomo? Temidayo or Jomo is the financial secretary. Okay, no, you can't get. Oh, it's decorative. Okay. The next is Honorable Justice Wasiu Animao. Honorable Justice. Okay. The next is my Lord Honorable Justice Tajuddin. The next is Honorable Justice Boyega. The next is my Lord Honorable Justice Sherifa Sholebo. The next is Professor Yusuf A. Musa. The next is Professor Momodu K. Momodu. The next is Professor Florence Orabweze. The next is Tade Badiola. And after him is Tinu Awe. The next is Professor Sam Uzochukwu.
Allow a little time for pictures.
Yeah, all of us. The next is Ezeno. The next is Akebwa Seifa. The next is His Royal Majesty, Oba Dr. Michael Ogwuayi. The next is Oga Christopher Oga. We have Olufunmilayo Lola Oshisoye. Olufunmilayo Lola Oshisoye.
I must specially make recognition of Fumi Oshisonya. When we started the journey about 20 years ago or thereabouts, 30, she was one of my early partners. And even when we started the journey with the chartered arbitrators, she was my partner, and we did a lot of ADR work together. She's added so much, looks so much her friend, that when I saw her here, I didn't know it was her. Congrats for me.
The next is Nneka Mbacho. She's unavoidably absent, but is represented by a relation of hers. So Nneka Mbacho. Okay. Okay. The next is Sholakbe Oshisonya. Take it.
Oh, it's video.
Okay.
His film has finished.
The next is Ibrahim Odeyemi Sanusi. And I'd like to actually commend this gentleman. He was actually the person that registered the company, and I gave him trouble. But he was all the while very patient with me. I call him 20 times a day, he responds. Thank you. So the next person is Bola Bello Akimbami. Bola Bello. Then we have Arinze Uzochukwu. The next. The next is Tokbe Olabanji. Okay, I think I'm going to correct that. I'll correct it. Sorry about that. Tokbe Olubanji. And the next is Professor Akin Ibidapobi, our president. Please, I crave your indulgence before I go on to call the next name. I hope I've called everyone. Okay. Okay. So the next is John Dare Oloyede. The next is Chinyere Perpetua Online. Thank you very much, everyone. So I'll hand the mic over to the MC.
All right, that done, let me formally congratulate all the council members that have just been accredited. I will only have to say that I'm sure that you know that your appointment to the governing council is not for nothing. It is a testimony for the contribution you have made in the ADR sector of our economy. It's a recognition of the positions you have held in your various endeavors in life. So you have been invited to come and add value to this institute. And I'm sure that none of you will disappoint the institute. Prof is leading us, and I'm sure wherever he finds himself, he has always performed. And God will help you this time around and help every one of you that have been given this opportunity to serve on the council of this institute. Congratulations once again. Yes. But before then, okay. The next thing for us now is to take the oath of office. All inductees will have to stand where you are. My Lord Boyega Ogunfora will conduct the oath in both capacity as, as an inductee and also commissioner for oath. So please take the oath and just sign your name at the lower part of the page, just sign your name, and then they will have a way of collecting it back from you.
Well, okay. It has been made easier for us at the back page of the pamphlet in our hands. I then would say our names and then would read. So let's start. I swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Institute of Alternative Dispute Resolution, Development, and Conflict Management of Nigeria, also known as i-ADRNigeria, that I will fulfill my roles and responsibilities as delineated in the Governing Council policies, adhere to the Governing Council policies during council meetings, support the President and Chairman of Council in his roles, support the Executive Board in his or her executive role, respect and support the bylaws, policies, operations, and the board decisions, conduct myself in a spirit of collegiality and respect for the collective decisions of the board, and subordinate my personal issues to the best interest of i-ADRNigeria. Honor confidentiality regarding discussions, comments, and deliberations, and exercise the above responsibilities at all times and with due diligence, care, and skill in a reasonable and prudent manner. I further swear that I will faithfully discharge my duties as a member to the best of my ability, and swear and sworn to on this 16th day of November 2024. So help us all, God.
But while you are going to give the certificates out to those who have just arrived, I'm told that about 14 people joined this exercise via Zoom. So we are just telling them that we recognize their presence over there. We thank them for joining us, and we wish them a good time to come and join the Institute at any time and see how they can contribute to the growth of the Institute. So you can now do that. Okay. The chair. Oh, okay, sir.
To save the chair some time.
Okay, the name. Please, apologies, Malam. Okay, so we have Malam Muhammad Kani. Malam Muhammad Kani. Okay, so he has corrected me, Malam Hadi Muhammad Kani. He's a Kadi, he's a grand Kadi. You are not yet Kadi, a Kadi. Okay, thanks for the correction. Yes, he's a Kadi of the Sharia Court of Law. Congratulations, sir. Thank you.
Well, what's left on the program? Item 7 or 8?
I think.
Well, before we get to that, not just the picture. What about
the pictures and then the vote of thanks?
Let's do vote of thanks first before you start doing the pictures.
Okay.
Oloyede is doing the vote of thanks.
Let's do the pictures.
Oh, we should do the pictures first. Okay, where are we going to take?
Let's take one here, then we'll take one outside.
So all inductees should please come out and take passport photographs. Group photograph. So go do it outside. Yes, sir. Okay, one you can pass here. There's an exit here.
Please, apologies for that.
No, it's okay, sir. My Lord. Go, go.
All I needed was one look, one magic moment, was all it took. From that moment, I love you so. Now that I found you, I'm never gonna let you go. Say it again. It sounds so good. Say it one more time and then, well, if you mean it, say it again. The hard part's over and the loving part begins. Oh, hold me closer, make me warm. I feel wanted. Here in your arms, I've been lonely for too long. I've waited a lifetime for you to come along. So come on, say it again. It sounds so good. Say it one more time and then, well, if you mean it, say it again. The hard part's over and the loving part begins. Come on, say it again. It sounds so good. Say it one more time and then, well, if you mean it, say it again. Walking in the light, tripping in the starlight, Lord, and I'm feeling down. Walking in the shadows, sneaking down a side road. Come early morning, I'll be there on the edge of town. I was thinking about a good thing, thinking about a sweet gleam in my honey's eyes. I was sinking, feeling kind of lonesome. Come early morning, I'll be home at my honey's side. I have drifted up across the mountain, I have stumbled down the other side, and I've been tempted, tried in trouble. Come early morning, I'll be home and satisfied. About you when I don't want to dream about your smiling face. I keep trying not to love you, but I love you anyway. We should be together. We should be walking side by side. We should be together, keeping each other satisfied. I have talked to, come to know you. I've come to need your company. What will I do if I can't have you? If I can't have you, what will I do? We should be together. We should be walking side by side. We should be together, together, keeping each other satisfied.
Everyone considered him the coward of the county. Never stood one single time to prove the county wrong. His mama called him Tommy, but folks just called him Yellow. Something always told me they were reading Tommy wrong. Now he was only 10 years old when his daddy died in prison. And I took care of Tommy, 'cause he was my brother's son. I still recall the final words my brother said to Tommy. Son, my life is over, but yours has just begun. Promise me, son, not to do the things I've done. Walk away from trouble if you can. Now it don't mean you're weak, you turn the other cheek. And I hope you're old enough to understand. Son, you don't have to fight to be a man. There's someone for everyone. Tommy's love was Becky. In her arms he didn't have to prove he was a man. One day while he was working,
they say we're young and we don't know. Won't find out until we grow.
Well, I don't know, baby, if that's true. 'Cause you got me, baby, I got you.
Babe,
I got you, babe. I got you, babe.
they say our love won't pay the rent. Before it's earned, our money's always spent.
I guess that's so we don't have a lot. At least I'm sure of all the things we got.
Baby,
I got you, babe. I got you, babe. I got flowers in the spring. I got you to wear my ring.
and when I said you're the crown, and when I get scared, you're always around. So let them say your hair's too long. I don't care, with you I can't go wrong.
We have gotten to almost to the end of the program of the day, and it is just meet that at this point we must appreciate the fact that we called upon you all and you came. But before I do the vote of thanks, I need to inform everyone that provision has been made for food and drinks, and it's a buffet. Each table will go from table 1, where my lords are seated, and they will take from the plenty that God has used us to provide. And then other tables will follow because of the tiny space, so that it will not be too rowdy. As I give the vote of thanks, the servers will beckon, and then every table will get up and go. Ladies and gentlemen, I am overwhelmed with emotion today because at very short notice, we called upon everyone here and so many others at home and abroad who have not been able to make it, and you turned up. It's not Nigeria today. It's not easy to call on people from so far and wide, and people will turn up. So, with the kind permission of the President of Council and members of the same council, I've been mandated to give this vote of thanks. I thank God Almighty for giving us this grace to be here today. Without God, we could not have achieved this. I thank my lords, spiritual and temporal, for honoring our calls, particularly Honorable Justice Ogunfora and Justice Okushokon. With their tight schedule, I believe they came in from Bayelsa State to attend this occasion. I thank the chairman of the day. Is a very big brother to me. And when we were growing our teeth as young lawyers, I remember he provided me with some wonderful briefs, which really made life very easy for me. I know Fumi won't know about that. I thank you, Mr. Chairman, for coming, for honoring and call, and for enlightening us more about the bigger job that we have to contend with. I have also been an arbitrator for some time, but you provided some more insight, particularly into matters of international arbitration. We all pray that those briefs from Geneva, Switzerland, USA, Canada, the ones we only dream of, but which you have seen physically, we all pray that we see them physically too. I thank you for coming. I thank the guest speaker, our erudite professor, for providing an insight and doing a comparative analysis of ADR and litigation, and telling us why the time has come for us as Nigerians to embrace ADR, because litigation really is not really, it's an industry I belong to, and I feed fat from that industry. But having seen both sides of the divide, I know that indeed the grass may actually be greener on the other side. Because when you have an arbitration, as an arbitrator, you have an arbitration and you do a job of 2 months and you get all the money you get from litigation from one arbitration for a whole year. What better job? And you don't have to really there's not too much scholarship. All you need to do is to be fair, to have the mind of a God-fearing judge, and then you are good to go. I thank you. I thank all the judges who are here today, particularly those of you who have decided to accepted to join the governing council. Your wealth of experience will be brought to bear. This is not a council that will go to sleep. This is a council that will form the bedrock of law reform in Nigeria. I can assure you of that. This is not an institute that is just out. It's not just about making money, money, money. This is an institute that wants to tell Nigerians that going back to the basics includes going back to traditional ADR, because it is natural to us. We thank you. We thank KBAC particularly. KBAC is not a novice in this field. He's been chosen particularly to be on the governing council. This project. And we know that the traditional roles for our traditional rulers, over so many years, Nigerians have yearned that we keep on arguing what roles should traditional rulers perform in a constitutional democracy. And over the years, since I was a kid, we've been hearing all these arguments. As an eminent jurist, there used to be a house of chiefs and all that. One of the major trusts of our institute is to bring the traditional institutions into functionality. We want to reach out to them. We want to provide training and platform for these institutions to be able to, because the informal sector of dispute resolution is more than 80%. The 20% that is remaining that has to go through litigation is even overwhelming the judiciary. And that's why the judges are really tired. Some of the judges here, we talk, And I know, I mean, when a judge says, I have to lie on my back to write rulings, because the back is aching. I mean, you can appreciate where we're coming from. It's not easy. Thank God for states like Lagos State, Ogun State, where multi-door courthouses have grown and they have been incorporated into the judicial system, such that judges now refer matters to for mediation and conciliation. I mean, and even at that, most parties still refuse to settle and still come back to the judges. We thank you all, for coming. We thank all those of you who are also members of the Governing Council for providing yourselves at this time. We thank all our guests today for coming to grace this occasion. We hope that in due course, you will also take a decision about joining. We have a platform that you can count on. Our institute is not just going to be an institute where you come for training 2-3 days and you get a certificate. You will read, you will understand what we are talking about. You will appreciate it. You will be able to put it into practice, even at the home setting. That is the kind of institute we are trying to build. We invite you all to join us, not just today. After today, we'll be reaching out to you through different means. And we hope that when we call upon you, you will come. As you go away from this place, I pray that all of us will get back home safely. All those we left behind will meet them in good health, and that whenever God provides an opportunity for us to come together again, it will be even a happier gathering by the grace of Almighty God. I thank you, and God bless you all. So the food is ready, and I think table 1 will go.
People came from Abuja and Kano.
Oh, okay, what are they?
There's a prof, there's a gentleman there, and that man.
Yes, that's an omission on my part. I've just been informed that some members came from Abuja, all the way from Abuja to grace this occasion, from Kano, all the way from Kano. That's the Kadi, I believe. Yes. Oh, yes. We are most. Oh, Prof from Enugu. Well, you are welcome, ma. We really appreciate your coming. And the Kadi, we thank you, sir, for coming. We are sorry about not getting it right. I mean, the Kadi is important. It was well earned, and I mean, we must flaunt it. It's very important. I also want to thank. Who else is there? That's all. Kano, Enugu, and Abuja. And Prof. Enugu, yes. So, Oka, Anambra State. Wow. Distance. Thank you for pointing it out, ma. We really appreciate your coming. I mean, Bayelsa too. Oh, Abuja, yes, we call who will forget Abuja? I mean, Bayelsa too. Wow. We feel loved. I mean, this is overwhelming. I must confess that we didn't expect this kind of the goodwill that's been shown to us today, coming from all over. I mean, Nigeria is represented here today, and we pray and hope that we will not disappoint anybody by His grace. We thank you very much. God bless you.
And the chairman, you should say something.
Thank you very much. No, I think it's not any formal speech. I just want to be talking as the table 1 will go, but I want those who came from Abuja and Kano to join table 1 so that they can quickly take care of themselves. I'm sure they have place to catch or things like that. So table 1, please, my lords, Learned Silk, Learned Professor, please advance to the menu table. And I apologize to everybody is important. Table 2 is also well peopled with important people, but just to have a little bit of order in this arrangement. So, council members, as you have your lunch, I have spoken to one or two people, but I also want to speak to people at large that we are constituting our panel of neutrals. That is the panel that will be doing the work and arbitration and so on and so forth. So you're all important people, and as a matter of fact, that's why we selected our panel, from making sure that we have a very strong contingent. So when we constitute it, I imagine that we will be receiving formal letters, appointing you to the panel of neutral. That will be our private judges, so to say, across the broad spectrum. So if I have not spoken to you directly, I'm informing you that if you receive that invitation, that letter that says you are now a member of the panel of neutral, you will reply formally as soon as possible, because we expect to get busy by the grace of God. So I can only say that apart from what the JD Oloyede has said, who is our legal advisor, Mr. Barrister Oloyede. So we thank you. We are so excited. We are so happy to have you. And whenever we call upon you, we know that you will join us. So as people serve themselves, they will come back to their tables, and then the next table will go. As the president, I will be the one to eat last. So I won't go and serve myself until everybody is well fed. Thank me, because if I go there, I will finish everything. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming.
Right, well, that's about it. Officially, the program has come to not really an end. There is a lot of networking to do, socials and all that. Thank you very much. Deomia Isa hereby signs off.
Don't go. Now that I've lost everything to you, you say you wanna start something new, and it's breaking my heart to leave. Baby, I'm grieving, but if you wanna leave, take good care. Hope you find a lot of nice things to wear, but then a lot of nice things turn bad out there. Oh, baby, it's a wide world. It's hard to get by, just wanna smile, girl. Oh, baby, it's a wide world. I'll always remember you like a child, girl. You know I've seen a lot of what the world can do, and it's breaking my heart in two, because I never wanna see you sad, girl. Don't be a bad girl, but if you wanna leave, take good care. Hope you find a lot of nice friends out there, but just remember there's a lot of bad air everywhere. Oh, baby, it's a wide world. It's hard to get by, just look on the smile, girl. Oh, baby, it's a wide world. I'm watching you, like a child, girl.